Good morning. Please remain standing while I invite Raquel Cadilla to sing our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please sit down, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 108th Convocation of the University of Waterloo. 108th Convocation. Now, it's a great day for you graduates. This is a big day for you, and you're going to go into the real world, take a job in business and research, continue learning. And the University of Waterloo has always been known as an entrepreneurial university, innovative, creative. And when I think of the University of Waterloo, I think of this story of this guy, a businessman. He wants to go to Europe for a quick holiday, and so he drives New York, drives to a bank branch, parks his Rolls-Royce outside, goes to the bank manager and says, I want a loan for $5,000. The loans officer looks at him, and he's dressed well, and he says, okay, what collateral do you have? He says, that Rolls-Royce outside, that's mine. Here's my papers, check it out, and I'll leave that as collateral. So the loans officer checks it all out, says, no problem, gives him the $5,000, and he goes on his holiday. 2 weeks later, he comes back from Europe, and he says to the loans officer, I want to pay the loan. So the loans officer says, it's $5,000 and $15.40 in interest. And so the man writes out a check, pays it to the loans officer, and he's about to leave. The loans officer said, we've done some work on you. You're a multimillionaire. Why do you take this loan from us? And the man smiled. He says, where else could I park my Rolls-Royce in Manhattan for 2 weeks and pay $15.40? Creativity. But again, a good morning to all of you, and welcome to this convocation. It's a great day for all you graduates. Here at Waterloo, each convocation is a celebration of the achievements of our graduates. And this morning, we celebrate with those graduates in the Faculty of Science. On behalf of the Board of Governors and the Senate of the University, I'd like to express congratulations and best wishes to all of you who will graduate this morning. Please savor every minute of today's ceremony and the celebrations that will follow with your circle of family and friends. Today is a rite of passage to an exciting future where you can apply your knowledge, share your expertise, or continue learning. I also welcome the families and guests of the graduating students. Your presence today is a tangible demonstration of the support and commitment to the graduate's success. We will begin with the conferring of an honorary degree on an individual who has distinguished himself in the Academy. We will then confer bachelor's, master's, honors, and doctoral degrees. Finally, an award will be presented to a distinguished faculty member, and medals will be awarded to graduating students who have excelled in their studies. The proceedings will take less than 2 hours, and we ask that you remain in your place until convocation is adjourned and the academic procession has left the convocation hall. This ceremony blends certain age-old university rites and protocols with a spirit of informality which characterizes Waterloo. We trust that it will be an occasion to enjoy and an occasion to remember. Now, I offer you my congratulations. And as you move from Waterloo, I challenge you. Take risks, be unconventional, but do not forget that honesty, integrity, and strength of character should drive everything that you do. As an aside, when I was your age, I was introduced to a book by Napoleon Hill. The name of the book is Think and Grow Rich, and it's a wonderful book that studied success stories of businessmen, doctors, politicians, scientists, and others. The book analyzed the principles behind their success and explained it in very simple terms, concluding finally with this line: what the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve. What the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve. So one day, when finally you've made your mark on this world, make sure that you give back to others less fortunate. After all, every one of us has benefited from the wisdom, advice, generosity of others that have helped and shaped our careers. So let me then end with a Chinese proverb. And the Chinese proverb goes something like this: if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. But if you want happiness for a lifetime, go help somebody. So, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to this convocation, and the convocation will now begin. I will now invite Raymond Laflamme, Executive Director, Institute for Quantum Computing, to the podium. Raymond.
Mr. Chancellor, I present Rolf Dieter Hoyer. Professor Rolf Dieter Hoyer is Director General of the Centre Européen de Recherche Nucléaire, also known as CERN, and assumed this role in 2009. During his first 2 years as Director General, CERN's Large Hadron Collider was brought into operation and began experiments at the frontier of high-energy physics, sparking a new era of discoveries that will provide a deeper understanding of the basic building blocks of all matter in the universe. Under his leadership, CERN has emerged from a catastrophic explosion to be one of the world's largest international scientific collaboration. With 21 member states, the involvement of universities from over 50 countries, and with over 12,000 scientists and engineers working in this grand collaboration. In 2013, this enormous undertaking announced what is arguably one of the greatest scientific achievements in history, confirmation of the discovery of the Higgs boson, at that time the only unobserved particles predicted by the Standard Model, and the particle that explained the origin of the mass of subatomic particles. In addition to his leading role in the successful quest for the Higgs boson, Professor Hoyer has maintained a continuing interest in worldwide physics research, both as a frequent speaker around the world and acting as a global diplomat for fundamental research and discovery. He has received honorary degrees from universities in Europe, Australia, and Canada. In 2012, he was co-awarded the Edison Volta Prize by the European Physical Society for leading effort that resulted in many significant advances in high-energy particle physics. Mr. Chancellor, in recognition for his outstanding contribution to the field of particle physics and his leadership in demonstrating that innovative international collaboration in fundamental research can have significant impact in many fields, I request that you confer the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa, upon Rolf Dieter Hoyer.
Congratulations, Rolf. That's fantastic. What an achievement. What an achievement.
It was a pleasure.
He'll put that. I'll read this now.
Okay.
I'm honored to confer upon you, Rolf Dieter Hoyer, the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, and I extend my sincere congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I now invite Dr. Hoyer to address Convocation.
President, Chancellor, graduates, you are the most important people today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to receive this Doctor honoris causa from the University of Waterloo. And it's a great pleasure for me to accept it, not just for me, but for CERN. For CERN as my home laboratory, it's the place where, at the moment, I spend most of my time. CERN, as you already heard, is the world's largest particle physics laboratory. We have around 2,500 staff members, but we have around 11,000 scientific users from all around the world, 100 nationalities, and we are doing basic science. And what we want to do is, we want to unravel the secrets, or at least some of the secrets of the early universe. What was matter like at the beginning of the universe? Why can we exist at all? What are the mechanisms that we can physically exist? Astrophysics does it on the large scale. Particle physics does it on the small scale. Astrophysics is looking into the history of the universe. The more powerful the telescopes, the more backwards you can look in the history of the universe. Particle physics does it differently. We reproduce the conditions at the beginning of the universe. We are not looking into the history, we are reproducing the conditions. And we are reproducing them with a large hadron collider at a time 10 to the minus 12 seconds after the Big Bang. For the family members, the non-scientists, this is a 1/1,000,000th of a millionth of a second after the Big Bang. This is pretty close. I would like to get even closer, because a lot has happened during that time, but at least I can proudly say nobody gets closer than us. So we used the world's most powerful accelerator, the Large Hadron Collider, which you shortly saw on the video. In 2012, we could announce the discovery of the famous Higgs boson. Now, some of you might think, what does that mean? Why is it important for me that they discovered this Higgs boson? Well, it tells us how the fundamental particle, the fundamental constituents of matter out of which you and we all exist, how they get their mass. Without mass, without mass of these fundamental particles, they could not form, or very difficultly, they could not form composite matter. We could just not exist. So I think you should be happy that we now found the reason why you can exist. And I think so it's important for all of us to understand that. It was the seminal work of theorists in 1964, Robert Braud, François Englert on one side, and Peter Higgs on the other side. They wrote their papers, 1964. And it took 3 people to write these papers, to come up with this theory. Nearly 50 years later, we found this boson. And it took 3,000 people per experiment in order to find that beast. So from 3 to 2 times 3,000. That tells you why it was so long. Now these experiments, as I said, they consist out of 3,000 scientists each. Now 3,000 scientists, the graduates know that there are at least 300 professors in these experiments then. 300 egos. You have to get these egos together and they have to work together. And it works very well. Yeah? It works fantastically because they all have the same goal and we all speak one language. And that's science. Science is a universal language. And when you think of the 100 nationalities, it's obvious that science bridges cultures and nations. Science is a model for peaceful being together, and I think politics can learn a little bit at least from science. I think we can be a role model for that. But science is more. Science is the basis of today's life, is the basis of today's well-being. And that is due to the fact that basic science and applied science were working together. And this is very, very important also for the future. You have the basic science, it drives innovation. This drives applied science, it drives again innovation and goes back and drives basic science. This is a virtuous circle which needs to be unbroken. It needs to be unbroken because also for the future, science will be the basis for tomorrow's well-being. But for this, we need to do one thing. This is to bring science back to society. There's an increasing gap between science and society. Society is using science all the time, but I have the impression it's not acknowledged. It's not enough supported by society. So we need to bridge that gap. And the discovery of the Higgs boson, for example, the Large Hadron Collider itself is helping to bridge such a gap once it's carefully and correctly promoted. But in order to bridge this gap, you need education. You need educated people in STEM subjects. STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Exactly what you are doing here. Education in STEM subjects is key for the future. Politicians, the United Nations are talking about sustainable development goals. How can you have sustainable development goals if you don't have people to sustain it? You need educated people. So I think education, again, is key, science and education. And I must just say, you graduates, you will be, from now on, our ambassadors for science and our ambassadors for science education. And I think then we can make it also for the future. Thank you very much.
Dr. Hoyer, thank you very much for that enthusiastic and stimulating address, and welcome to the group of Waterloo's distinguished alumni. Would members of the graduating class please rise? Mr. Chancellor, I present those scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements of the Senate of the University that they may be admitted to their various and several degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the university, I hereby admit you to your various and several degrees with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining.
Please be seated. I now invite Danica Shintao Hui to come forward and deliver the valedictory address.
Good morning, Mr. Chancellor, members of Convocation, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen. When I was a child, I would spend a lot of time with my grandma. She would always repeat this one Chinese proverb over and over, trying to convince me to learn Chinese. 一寸光阴,一寸金,寸金难买,寸光阴. Translated, it goes something along the lines of an inch of gold and an inch of time. You can never buy that inch of time with that inch of gold. What I wanted to share with you is the meaning behind this proverb, which has really resonated with me through my life. That is that time is your most precious possession. And the time spent here at the University of Waterloo is priceless. Everything we have learned, our experiences, the friendships we have made are things that we will carry on with us throughout our lives. We are here today to celebrate a milestone, one that was achieved through years of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Graduation is a time of excitement and celebration. It is also a time to look back and reflect on the paths we have walked, so we can start looking ahead towards our new destinations. I am humbled and honored to be standing here today to share this journey with you, to get excited and inspired before we take our next steps into a new chapter of our lives. On the first day of university, we came with our minds filled only with the curiosity of the future, the excitement to meet new friends, and the relief to get away from our families. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But the more time we spent here, we've developed this desire to learn about the people around us, about the courses we're taking, and about ourselves. We learned after the first week that we can do an awesome secret science dance, that our colors are black and gold, and that we are the warriors. And after the first term came and passed, we learned it was probably a good idea to attend lectures. And procrastination, it's your worst enemy. And over the years, through various experiments, we learned that on the Tim Hortons menu, there's enough nutrients to sustain the human body indefinitely. And whether if you're memorizing cell signaling pathways, deriving thermodynamic equations, or understanding amino acid structures, we can always find a friend or a few who are willing to pull all-nighters with us, cramming for the morning's exam. And for those times spent conducting research, we learned that holding expectations before results come out is a foolish and self-destructive behavior. We learned any number of synonyms of patience, experienced uncertainty, and have since honed the ability to roll with the punches. We worked hard. But the university has also taught us to play hard. Maybe it was beating professors at pool on student prof night, or grabbing a drink at Bomber on Wednesday nights. What it is all the little and big things that we have experienced on this long and arduous journey that has paradoxically passed so quickly. But now it is time to slow down, to take a step back and recognize the things that we should bring with us on our next adventure. I believe there are two things that will enable us to succeed in all of our endeavors. The first is courage. The courage to try something new, to get out of your comfort zone and embrace the unknown. Following with perseverance, to have the strength to keep pushing forward towards your goals no matter what obstacles may arise. We had the courage to come to UW, to be challenged, to learn, and to experience new things. And by us standing here, we have demonstrated perseverance. Unrelenting in the face of mountains of assignments, the stress of exams, and the pressures of expectations. We can finally declare to the world now that we've made it. However, we did not do it on our own, and we had plenty of help along the way. So I want to take a moment to thank everyone on behalf of the graduating class of 2014 who is walking beside us on our journey. To our parents, relatives, and families who had faith in us and encouraged us to pursue our dreams. To the faculty and staff who dedicated countless of hours in preparation or in lectures, equipping us with the knowledge to carry out our dreams. And to the University of Waterloo, an institution that has provided us with this opportunity to dream. We thank you. As warriors, we have been given the weapons we need to go out into the battlefield and stand our ground. What we do next is up to us. It is our time to give back to the community, to challenge the world, and maybe become the inspiration for the next generation of warriors. Time is our most precious possession, and I am so happy and honored to have spent mine with you, the class of 2014. Thank you.
Danica, thank you very much for that inspiring address. We have just formally acknowledged the significant achievements of our graduates. And make no mistake, graduates, your achievements have been significant. You have been challenged. You have been stretched. You've invested your time and effort at Waterloo, and if we have done our job correctly, you will see a significant return on your investment in the years to come. You have worked hard, tirelessly even, to make the financial sacrifices necessary to undertake your education. We hope it has been worth every dollar. However, as I look around today, it is obvious that there are many spouses, parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, and other special guests who are sharing in the achievement of our graduating class. In this age of online social networking, when connections can be forged far and wide, we should take this opportunity to remind ourselves of the most important social network of all, our families. Graduates, your family has played an important role in your education, from getting you off to a good start in the early years, in some cases helping to finance your education, to inspiring, encouraging, and consoling you every term at exam time. For many of our students, particularly our international students, your families had to travel quite a distance today to celebrate with you. For others, your family members were unable to be here. However, we do feel their presence here today. Graduates, know that we at the University of Waterloo appreciate the family contributions and sacrifices that have been made so that you could study here. And so at this time, I would like to call upon the parents and special guests of the graduating class to please rise. Graduates, please join me in applauding the support that they have given you over the years. Please be seated. Thank you. If you would like to take photographs, you may do so in the area to the left of the platform, over here. Please enter this area by going to down the left side of a gym, down the hall, and in the back door here. If you approach this area just before your special graduate is about to proceed across the stage, you can then take photographs. Once you have taken the photographs, please return to your seat to allow others to take photographs of their graduates. Graduates, please show respect for your fellow classmates and their guests by returning to your seat after you've been hooded and remaining there until convocation is adjourned. We will now proceed to the conferring of degrees. I now invite Terry McMahon, Dean, Faculty of Science, and Marley Spofford, Associate Dean, Undergraduate Studies, the Faculty of Science, to read the names of the graduates.
Mr. Chancellor, I present the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science, General Science, 3-year. It has to come down. Stephen Chung, Angelika Djedzic. Okay, sorry about that. Kevin Alexander Eng, Rebecca Dawn Grun Cloutier, Robert Howard Hay. Sabrina Elizabeth Lamb, Shane O'Connor, Selena Passion. Jessica Paul, Jennifer Fan, Natasha K.R. Pozega. Rumesh Ratnaswaran, Navdeep Kaur Sahota, Daniel Fritz Shearer. Matthew Saint-Jean, Andrew Stobe, Ken Swong. Melissa Milagros Silagi, Hei In Tang, Brandon To. Hon Lum Adriana Tu, Amanda Tran, Mike Yutong Zhang. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Mr. Chancellor, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Honours Science. Shaleza Radea Ahad, Yara Alhamad, Anna Maria Antza. Jackie Au, Fatima Awan, Jillian Ann Battenberg. Felipe Bedoya, Andrew James Cahill, Frank Chen. Estella Wei Ting Chu, Zachary David Ziraki, Alexandria Dudnoff. James Allen Evans, Ian Giselle Gallardo, Advitya Gautam. Danielle Michelle Gregory, Ryan Huang, Saman Imatyez. Irene Iskeli, Goranka Jan, Ramsha Jawed. Chengyu Jin, Kiran Joshi, Bonnie Jean Kemp. Agam Khanna, Devin Kovacs, Lillian Audrey Kwok. Joanne La, Margaret Lau, Grace Heyun Lee. Sean Liu, Hyung Geong Lim, Seung Bin Lim. William Douglas Lindsay, Yanzi Liu, Sani Lua. Olabisi Abibat Makanjuola, El Nathan Mesfin, Sarah Moktia. James Lachlan Montague, Martin Chiuk Hin Mui, Stephanie Carmela Norina Nanfara. Henry Ng, Ronald Ng, Amy Mai Nguyen. Than Chuan Nguyen, Alisa Brianna Nixon, Casey Lynn Oliver. Charlene Pan, Bansari Patel, Lucia Pham. Amanda Michelle Phillips, Wesley Thomas Pichette, Tanisha Rajput. Chrissy Cassandra Ramutar, Natasha Richards, Andrew James Roberts. Amina Javaid Sadiq, Kiran Kaur Sandhar, Stephanie Marie Sharpley. Christy Marie Somers, Daniel Sue, Damian Shiloh Stone. Jonathan Tam, Shahana Tariq, Nirusha Thangalapasa Singnam. Mark Misan Uku, Stephanie Indira Verasamy, Aaron James Voss. Alana Gladys Wade, Michael James Patrick Williams, Josephine Wong. Narmantha Yoganatham, Ahmed Zaitun, Alison Jing Zhou. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Mr. Chancellor, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Honours Biochemistry. Anum Ta Arif, Sarah Lynn Crouch, Danica Shinto Kui. Amal Gedi, Katarzyna Karpinska-Ledier, Fatima Khan. Hyun Seok Kim, Radmila Kovac, Braden John Kralt. Brialan Ann Lobb, Julia Manalil, Ana Lucia Molina. Ariel Sarah Garlin Nadler, Susanna Nga Nguyen, Daval Hitesh Kumar Patel. Amanda Nicole Poole, Kevin Scott Potruff, Catherine Marie Senchens. Sarah Louise Stone, Katie Elizabeth Taris, Catherine Hang Tran. Tina Nancy Tuck, Luke M. van der Zwet, Melanie Villanueva. Yi Yang. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Mr. Chancellor, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelors of Science, Honours Biotechnology, Chartered Professional Accountancy. Courtney Wen Ying Fan, Albert Sam, Nicole Tam. Kenny Libo Tang, Yu Yi Kathy Tang, Jin Shan Zhang. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Mr. Chancellor, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Honours Biotechnology Economics. Priya Anija, Sanya Beg, James Michael Bohm. Feng Chi Gu, Beatrice Liu, Timeshri Narayan. Arani Thanabala Singham, Jacqueline Zhou. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Mr. Chancellor, I present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Honours Chemistry. Patrick James Joseph Carr, Rachel Fisher, Jason Henderson. Elizabeth Ann Kleisath, Kai Neil Sands, Ryan Thomas Shatford. Yi Xuan Shi, Brandon Spain. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I present to you Bachelor of Science Honours Computational Science. Tejasvi Hora, Jenica Lois Marie Stankovicius. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I present to you the Bachelor of Science Honours Earth Sciences. Sarah Elizabeth Bossy, Cynthia Davis, Catherine Evelyn Fike. Tobiah Michael Kenneth Jacobs, Yuyi Yin, Ji Lu. Derek James Pitts, Stephen Robert William Robinson, Sean Brett Scott. Alex Ifan Sheen, Amanda Jane Taylor, Lenny Trin. Jin Yao Wang, Yinzi Wang, Zhao Wan. Nen Zhao Yan, Alexander Joseph Yard, Matthew Stephen Yee. Zhenjing Zhang. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I present to you the Bachelor of Science Honors Environmental Sciences. Lauren Harrison, Emily Ann Martha Holman, Karina Chehanat New, Navdeep Pander, Emily Marie Sarat, Helen Ni Tran. Ryan Trong, Taylor Vance, Zhangji Wang. Zhaoji Zhang. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I present to you Bachelor of Science, Life Physics, Honors Life Physics. Ulia Gabriela Dude. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I present to you the Bachelor of Science Honors, Mathematical Physics. Priyanka Agarwal, Zhang Q, Jennifer Anne-Marie Zetskas. John Alexander Dengus, Brian Leal Ferrandez, Lindsay Francis Fleetwood. Jaco Kapanmaki, David Layden, Michael James McFarlane. Ian Andrew Smith, Christopher James Sutherland, Grant Hamilton Watson. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I present to you Bachelor of Science, Honours Physics. Daniel Angus Beasley, Zachary Theodore Blair, Madeline J.A. Bodsma, Paul Charlton, Fernando Alberto Cortez, Wei Chu, William Dixon, Garrett Thomas Forsyth, Colleen Frances Gillily, Jordan Goulet, Matthew Jansen, Purvi Canal, Adam Tyler Koberninski, Sebastian Lopez Marino, Peter John Robert Munday, Ashley Rebecca Nickel, Kayla Jean Sutton, Kevin Bexon Tuck, Adriana Michelle Nicole Vincent, Yu Kun Wang, Robert Louis Webster, Boya Wen, Song Tian Sonia Dang, thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I present to you the candidates for Bachelor of Science Honours Medicinal Chemistry. Sarah Isabel Reyes. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I present to you the candidates for Bachelor of Science Honours Science and Aviation. Piu Ki Chang, Seung Jun Lee, James Yu Ki Poon, thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Now present to you the candidates for Bachelor of Science Honours Science and Business. Biang Wazak Ali, Joey Cho, Brandon Chung, Celine de Milleville, Haneen Ali El Shanti, Shane George, Assad Abid, Bassam Hassan, Gabriel Lizanne Ebert. Rutab Asif Khan, An Du Lam, Louis Lee. Shan Lian, Clement Su Cheng Ma, Tajana Milevetsevich. Kushbu Naik, Akash Abrai, Laura May Parler. Ian Gregory Roberts, Navjot Singh Sidhu, Anak Raj Samani. Miriam Rachel Tarofsky, Natalia Beatrice Velazquez, Elisa Nella Watson. Alice Chun Hussein Wei, Matthew Vincent Wong, Wafa Zahid. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. And I now invite William Power, Associate Dean, Graduate Studies.
Mr. Chancellor, I present to you the candidates for the degree Master of Science. Pierre-Etienne Cabelgouin, also the recipient of the Dean of Science Award for recognition of creative research as presented in a student's MSc thesis. Grant Lawrence Cleary, Amy Kirsten Gunther, Yuan Lee. Krista Marie Anja Paulson, Shehan Gamini Salgado, Matthew Daniel George Schmidt. Philip Simovich, Philippe Solano, Haipeng Su. Caitlin Erin M. Town, Lydia Marie Vermaiden, Bing Ching Yang. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Mr. Chancellor, I now present to you the candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Tufik Aridi. Daniel Benjamin Krieger. Erasmus N.B. Kudjo. Michael Andrew Theodore Fowler. Saeed Ismail Hussein. Paul McGrath. Sami Mohammadi. Mehdi Rahimi. Sayeh Rajabi. Madeline Simone Rosamond. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Mr. Chancellor, I now request you to confer in absentia the various and several degrees upon those candidates who were approved by Senate but who were unable to be present at today's convocation.
I confer the degrees in absentia.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I now invite Jeff McBoyle, Vice President Academic and Provost, to the podium.
The Distinguished Teacher Award was established by Senate of the University to recognize individuals with a continued record of excellence in teaching at Waterloo. Recipients must be nominated by their students and are selected by a committee of undergraduate and graduate students, alumni, and faculty members. Kashif Memon joined the University of Waterloo. Kashif joined the University of Waterloo in 2005. At Waterloo, he has taken a leadership role in student advising, teaching, and coordinating several science academic programs, including Science and Business, Biotechnology and Chartered Professional Accountancy, and Biotechnology and Economics. Kashif, as you can hear, is a passionate teacher, passionate about science, business, and economics. In his science and business workshops, he creates an environment for active learning and high student engagement. He regularly reminds students that learning must extend beyond the classroom walls. He brings real-world situations into the classroom so that students develop an understanding about how these events connect to science, business, and the concepts presented in class. Kashif is legendary for how he transforms the approach students take to group work. One of Kashif's students noted, quote, "He has revolutionized the concept of group work for me, turning into something I used to despise to something I look forward to eagerly," end of quote. Students and alumni consistently praise both his teaching skills and his concern for them as individuals. Thus, he is seen by many as an important mentor during their undergraduate education at Waterloo. As one student has noted, quote, "The science and business program is centralized on bridging concepts and pulling from different fields in order to solve problems. And I believe Kashif epitomizes the notion of crossover between disciplines with his varied experiences and expertise," end of quotation. Kashif Memmon's passion for learning, his respect for students, and his innovative teaching fully merit his designation as a distinguished teacher. Kashif Memon could not attend the ceremony today. However, I call forward his wife, Mrs. Uzma Memon, and son, Ushair Memon, to accept the award. I now invite Wayne Chang, alumnus, to the podium.
Mr. Chancellor, members of Convocation, ladies and gentlemen, since 1957, nearly 167,000 individuals have graduated from the University of Waterloo. Today, the class of 2014 joins that great assembly as they cross the stage and make the transition from student to alumnus. Graduates, your time as students may be ending, but I hope that your connection to the university will last a lifetime. I urge you to explore the continued opportunities the university offers you to learn, to grow, and to contribute. In that spirit of connection, Waterloo's alumni are proud to recognize each year those undergraduate and graduate students who have achieved academic excellence. At Spring Convocation, we honor undergraduate students from each faculty, while students in master's and doctoral programs are recognized at Fall Convocation. To each of these exceptional students, we award the Alumni Gold Medal. This solid gold medal, engraved with the recipient's name and degree, as well as the university's insignia, symbolizes their outstanding efforts. This morning, an extraordinary student will join those who have been recognized for their exceptional accomplishments. Mr. Chancellor, as a 1987 graduate of the Faculty of Science and a member of the university's Alumni Council, I'm pleased to present to you the 2014 recipient of the Alumni Gold Medal for the Faculty of Science. He graduated from Waterloo Collegiate Institute, Waterloo, and who graduates today with a Bachelor of Science degree, Mr. Kevin A. Eng. I now invite President and Vice Chancellor Ferdan Hamdalapur to the podium.
The University of Waterloo is proud to have been invited to award the Governor General's Silver Medal for academic merit. 3 silver medals are being presented at convocation ceremonies this week to the graduates who achieved the highest standing in the bachelor's program in the university. One of these medals will be presented today. Ladies and gentlemen, in total, we'll be graduating about 6,000 students this week. So, if you do the quick math, the recipient is one of 2,000 students. So you can appreciate how important this medal is. Mr. Chancellor, I request that you present the Governor General's Silver Medal for 2014 to Kevin Ang. Before I start my closing remarks, I'd like to call one name, Shannon Jessica Block. Shannon, you receive your degree, but due to a technical glitch, we didn't announce your name. Now it's done. Mr. Chancellor, we witnessed tremendous transformation this morning. Our graduates became graduates of this wonderful university. I think we owe them a big round of applause. Mr. Chancellor, family and friends, distinguished guests, esteemed faculty, and University of Waterloo graduates. Today, in the presence of your family and friends, our institution marks its most special occasion as we conclude the rite of convocation. We do so with the support of our faculty, represented beside me, and in shared celebration with those who have come to congratulate you, and the many more who join us in spirit. Let us once more acknowledge those international students and their families who could not be with us today for reasons of travel and logistics. Many of them are participating in today's ceremony via webcast. Would you please join me in congratulating them? Graduates, your achievements today represent a remarkable milestone in your life. You have worked hard for this. You and your families have invested significant resources for this. Your hopes and your future have hinged on this. And now the future beckons. As you move to the next stage of your lives, be it employment, starting your own company, travel, or further study, you know that our work as a world-class university continues on your behalf. And know, too, that you're not alone. As was just mentioned, 169,000 of your peers have gone before you. They live and work in 145 countries around the world and share your devotion to this place, and they have got your back. Connect with your fellow alumni in person through your local alumni chapter, or reach out to a University of Waterloo Global Ambassador who can help you adjust to your new surroundings in the city or country you may one day move to. Make your connections to your alma mater as part of your life, because these distinguished colleagues of yours share a precious connections with you. You will always be part of the same family. As you prepare to step into the next leg of your journey, I ask you to honor the words of a great poet and make this world where tireless striving stretches its arms toward perfection. On behalf of the entire University of Waterloo community, congratulations, graduates, and now go change the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another convocation, an inspirational convocation. And just before we adjourn, I wanted to take the opportunity to say, universities unleash talent. And here's the talent in front of you, but it doesn't happen in a vacuum. You have faculty and staff, so let's all give them a tremendous round of applause, the faculty and staff. And of course, you have management that runs this university. First of all, Jeff McBoyle, who is the provost. Let's give him a nice round of applause on my left here.
Thanks, Brent.
And finally, the leader of the university, the president of the university, who is responsible for the University of Waterloo and how it does, Feridun Hamdalapur. Feridun. Well, graduates, you're now on your way. God bless you, and whatever you do, this convocation is now adjourned. Thank you.